All right, good morning, guys. We are doing it here on a Friday. It is Ben at 10 live from the back deck in Borden, Indiana. We're going to put Starlink internet to the test today because, as always, we've got plenty of content to show you. We typically go about 45 minutes, even when the weather is nice and quiet like this. We've got some weather jokes, some weather history. I know we'll wait for some folks to get on board early in the show. You might just be watching the replay. So typically the show format, if you're new to the Ben at 10 show, this is all about weather in Southern Indiana and beyond. This is your show. Feel free to comment. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any weather questions, want to see some weather maps, again, you can guide us through this show. But typically we'll look at the forecast real quick off the top and the current conditions. And then we'll dig into cast in a lot more detail here through about 10:15, 10:20, and then we dig and dive deep into the weather models, the weather nerd portion of the segment. And then as we get deeper into the weather models, that's when it is Ben on a Limb segment, where we look far out into the future. And then if, we get folks tuning in midway through the show, we'll do the forecast recap as well. Then that usually sends us off to about 10:40, 10:45. So a nice laid back Friday here, TGIF, Friday before Labor Day. And we've got some wonderful weather. Just a little preview. We do have a cold front that's going to move through today. Most of us won't even notice it moves through. There's just a very small, sprinkle chance, isolated shower chance, mainly in central and southern Kentucky. So most areas are going to be completely dry and sunny for today. And by the way, here is a live look outside with the beautiful Falls of the Ohio Foundation camera. There it is. Once again, clear sky all throughout the area as we look towards the city skyline there, along the Falls of the Ohio and the fossil beds there, along the New Albany and Clarksville riverfront. So things are looking glorious here on this fantastic Friday morning. And we'll get you that forecast here right off the bat as we look at our weather headlines. And we're talking dry weather here through Monday. Tuesday, we might get a little more humidity, might give us a chance for a pop-up shower or storm. And then we're looking at better rain chances by the middle of our next work week, especially around Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. And then below normal temperatures throughout the long range outlook. You're going to love, if you like fall-like weather, you're going to love what the Climate Prediction Center map has to say for our area through the next couple of weeks or so. That play ball forecast, we've got our Friday night football, 76 at noon, 82 this afternoon, still about 5 degrees below normal for this time of the year, and 72 at 8 p.m. That rain chance I've just put at 5%. I think that's mainly around Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and south with a northwest wind today at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe a gust around 15. Just a nice little breeze out here. There's been a little murder of crows making some noise here out in the woods this morning. I've been listening to them here so far. And let me move some things around here as we bring that up. I'm going to look at a few comments here, pop it in. Hey, guess who's the first to pop into the comments section? We've got Beverly Hagest from Borden, Indiana. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in, Beverly. And next up, Dennis Gregory with a good morning from Bedford, Indiana, there in Lawrence County, ready to get the holiday weekend going. Come on, 5 p.m. I'll be zipping up through your way, Dennis, up through Bedford today. And then just north of Bedford, taking that exit, 37 north of Bloomington. Going to pick up my daughter Hannah to spend some time on this Labor Day weekend. So bringing her back down from IU for a little bit. So you enjoy your weekend, sir. All right, we're going to get going here. And as we take a look at the extolmag.com/weather homepage here. So we've got our live stream up right now. That is there. You can just hit play right there at any point in time to get the live stream, the Ben at 10. Like or subscribe our YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Get your interactive radar. The current conditions, which says 64 degrees right there. You've got a 3-day forecast on the right panel, the 7-day forecast that I put up for you, the weather story, the maps, the drought monitor. We talked about this yesterday. It was updated yesterday, and the drought monitor is we're like level, just the beginning stages of drought throughout portions of southern Indiana and Kentucky that you can see right there. The drought monitor is updated every Thursday. So that was just updated yesterday. And as we go down a little bit here to the big interactive radar, again, not much need for that anytime soon, but there are other parameters you can put on here. There you can see those temperatures in the 60s. A little bit farther south, starting to make their way into the 70s around Elizabethtown, Kentucky. So as we expand out far and wide, there's actually not much happening across much of the continental United States. So a lot of weather tools there. Again, that is extolmag.com/weather. Along the Gulf Coast is where there's some rain and some lightning that you can see right there. And we've got Mike Siebert from Middletown. Good morning, everyone. Everyone have a safe weekend. Have a fun, safe weekend. And so this is a tool that I wanted to share with you guys that you can bring up at home. I just think it's neat to look at. It shows the winds throughout the entire globe, the current winds. And so you just scroll in here to the United States. And so I wanted to show you where that front is as we wait for these winds to pop in, which they should here. There you go. It doesn't show the state outlines, but you can see the Ohio River here. So Louisville is right there. And so right now, into southern Indiana, so we're getting that wind shift. And actually, the front might be actually crossing the Ohio River. And you got to kind of got to look closely at this. You can probably see it better on your device. But you've got air coming from the south, right about the Bluegrass Western Kentucky Parkway, and then the air coming from the north. Where we had that convergence a little bit, that's where there's a very tiny chance of a sprinkle or light shower, mainly along the parkways in south and central and southern Kentucky. Most areas are going to be dry today, but this is just a fun tool. This is earth.null, N-U-L-L, school.net. And there you can see the global winds across the entire globe. Free to use for anybody. So very cool tool there. All right, Lions Roofing. I want to give a shout out to our partners. We can't do anything without them, and protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. Free estimates here, as you can see right there online. You can fill out some of that information. They've got you covered in Indiana and Kentucky, 812-294-3595. And then you can go to the careers section. If you know somebody that's looking for an opportunity, there's a job opening here at Lyons Roofing, Lyons, roofing repair technician. They work hand in hand with insurance companies, and I've been working recently with my guy here, Michael Long, with American Family Insurance. He'll have you covered throughout the entire state of Indiana, and it's got products in Kentucky as well. This is his landing page, amfam.com. Just search Michael Long. Tell him I sent you. There are ways to get discounts that I've been learning about, that you can learn about. And if you want a quote, check it out, 812-578-3072. Proud to be an American Star certified agency. Excellence in customer service. And then moving on here to Libs Paving, top asphalt paving contractor around. Thankfully, the weather's been nice and quiet. I know there's some inconvenience with the summer construction season. There's some slowdowns here and there, but got to get caught up after what was a rainy first half of the year. And we've had some dry time now, so they've got a lot of work going on, and they could use your help too. If you know somebody that wants a job opportunity, there you see the available employment opportunities. Each one of these lines right here, you just click learn more and you can apply for that job. Looking at this right now, this is out of Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, by the way, family owned company. Real great people. Superintendent, project manager, different jobs here, concrete laborer, carpenter, finisher, CDL driver, a lot of different job opportunities right there. You can level up your career anytime. They got fall sessions now that started Monday. They've got a second fall session later in the fall season that you can register for. Just dozens of 2-year certification programs, just easy to do. Just go to ivytech.edu, click on Sellersburg, the Sellersburg campus, which you can get one-on-one information on how to pay for your post-secondary education and these programs and how to make it work for you and wherever you are in your life. They are meeting you where you are at. As I say, you belong here there you can see ivytech.edu, making it easy for everybody and really partnering up with organizations and businesses all throughout our area, powering the workforce in Southern Indiana and beyond. So again, big thanks to our partners allowing us to do what we do here on Extol Weather and Ben at 10. Another live lookout here this morning. And we are about to dig into the details of that forecast here in just a second. As we are powered by Starlink Internet, we're going to put Starlink to the test here this morning as we are running a lot of juice flowing through the computer here this morning. Also, if you have any weather questions, anything, just want to communicate, Ben at xtolmag.com is where you can email me, Jason at xtolmag.com, or if you want sponsorship, advertising, marketing solutions, Extol Media, Extol Weather, we've got a lot of different platforms and marketing tools for you. Again, there's our contact information right there. Cheers. We've got the Bliss Cup. That's Starlink Internet. All right. Lillian Lasley, good morning. 69. That matches up with the current conditions I just saw as well. We got Perry Porter popping in the comments here. Happy Labor Day weekend. Same to you. Erica Risotto, good morning from Charlestown, Indiana, just up the way there. And Tammy Morton, good morning from Tammy and Vicky. Thanks for watching, you guys. Laura Young, my mom, hey, good morning from across the woods. Grandma and mom. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Get on that back deck and enjoy the fresh air out there. And Vicky Berger, another beautiful day. Yes, indeed. So we're about to get into the forecast. Got some weather jokes for you. You might like them, you might hate them. But again, they are free. Weather history, deep into our forecast, and we're going to look at the weather changes for next week. I think we'll get a midweek rain chance next week, and then a slammed, well, maybe not slammed is not the right word, but strong Canadian front, cooler than what we've had lately. Dew points in the 30s, might see highs in the 60s, 70s late next week. So we've got some cool things, literally cool things to talk about here on our Ben at 10 show. So let's bring it up. Let's get at it. Again, if you're just popping in here, here's the headlines. Dry through Monday, rain chances mid next week, and then below normal temperatures. Again, you're going to like this outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Your play ball forecast, we got the football field in the background because we got Friday night football. 76 at noon, 82 at 4 p.m., and 72 at 8 p.m. Are you guys going to any high school football games? Let me know what games are going on in the comments, or any festivals or county fairs. Let us know what's happening in the comments. Northwest wind at around 5 to 10. All right, here's the stupid dad jokes. These are kind of weather related. But what do you call a guy wearing a red and black striped shirt at the grocery store? Freddy Kroeger. That's not too bad. Freddy Kroeger. Why did the tornado break up with the hurricane? Because they had a twisted relationship. They didn't get the therapy they needed. Why, speaking of therapy, why did the snowman go to therapy? He was having a total meltdown. All right, I'm going to say it. So we've been doing this for a little while, these stupid dad jokes. I'm going to say these three on a scale of 1 to 10 are a 7. What? Go ahead, rate these stupid dad jokes, and we'll keep them coming. How many days until? Before 8 p.m. sunset's 5 days away. Autumn begins in 24 days, September 22nd. Average highs in the 70s in 26 days, but we're already getting this fall taste here. And I've been watching the U.S. Open tennis, and it's been really cool in New York, too. They have that out in Queens, I believe. And they've been talking about how it's been the coolest that they can remember there for U.S. Open. Usually it's hot stuff. Uh-oh. Erica's giving it a 6 for the stupid dad jokes. That's fair. I think that's fair. We've got Vicky in here letting us know what's going on with football. Salem plays Silver Creek at home tonight. Go Lions, roar. I'm not going to be partial here, but I'll go Lions. But we got the Dragons heading over to Salem. Everybody stay safe out there. And Carla Snotty, thanks for the update. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Thanks for joining the show here, Carla, and dropping in the comments. Perry Porter giving the jokes an 8 out of 10. All right. So we got an average of 7. So Erica's saying, go Dragons. All right. We're getting back and forth there. Who else is playing here? Because I think Floyd Central was out of town last week. Jeff was out of town. I didn't look at all the schedules. So let me know if you've got some Friday night football. Who's matching up here tonight? All right, here's your weather history for today. So 2005, big day. I remember it very well. Hurricane Katrina, Category 3 storm, 125-mile-per-hour winds, high storm surge came ashore along the Louisiana-Mississippi border. The massive storm brought 12 hours of hurricane-force winds and up to a 28-foot storm surge to the Mississippi coast. Of course, New Orleans inundated and changed that city forever. 2016, a lightning strike instantly killed a herd of 323 reindeer in Norway. So weather history is not always good stuff, as we know. 1985, a little more locally, several homes in Crawfordsville, that's just northwest of Indianapolis, were damaged by severe thunderstorm winds, a wind gust of 69 recorded in Indianapolis. So the source of this information from the National Weather Service in Louisville and Indianapolis. So good records that they're keeping there. And we've got a Mary Dale with a good morning. Always good to see what you have to say. Thank you very much, Mary. Trying to make it all interesting, of course. So we got high levels of the ragweed. We're in the ragweed season until we can get a good frost across the area. Mary, loving the weather history. The weather is interesting, especially those major events in history. UV index at an 8 today, so plenty of sunshine across the area. Remember some of that sunscreen. Your forecast summary for today, high of 82. It's fantastic Friday. I put that tiny rain chance mainly off to the south over central southern Kentucky, and even there, tiny rain chance this afternoon as this front is moving through the area. And you haven't even noticed it, but the front is pretty much moved through southern Indiana. We now have a northwest wind at around 5 to 10. Your Friday night football, 81 pregame, 7 p.m. kickoff, 76 halftime, lower 70s postgame, upper 60s. So may once like that flannel, the hoodie, the sweatshirt for once that sun goes down, those temperatures will be dropping off pretty nicely. Tonight's forecast, speaking of temperatures dropping off nicely, we've been having the windows open every night, going to sleep to the bugs and the critters out there. Low of 56 degrees. So the AC continues to get a nice break, a very light breeze, sunrise at 7:11. Barbara Haas saying, perfect evening. Yes, indeed. I need to go out and play some golf with you sometime. Tomorrow's forecast for your Saturday, a splendid Saturday, August the 30th. 50s out the door, 72 at noon, 79 for that forecast high, 5 to 10 below normal. There's a very loud cicada. And the normal high 87, normal low 67, sun up at 7:11, sunset at 8:15. And the Bats are at home all this weekend versus the Columbus Clippers. Beautiful baseball weather each evening. And this evening also, I believe, Racing Louisville has their match at 7:30. I think they're playing Houston. In the 7-day forecast, 79 tomorrow. Notice our lows in the 50s this weekend. Great camping weather for sure. A little cool. You know, the pool and the lake water maybe a little cooler than we would like. 80 Sunday, 82 Monday. And then introducing about a 30% chance of a shower Tuesday. That might be a little better chance in Kentucky than Indiana. And then our best chance is Wednesday into early Thursday. That's kind of the pinpoint right now as this front moves through. That is going to be a fall-like front, Canadian front. That'll drop us. Look at this. We might see our coolest temperatures that we've seen in a long time. 72 a high Thursday and a low down to 52. That means 40s in outlying areas. And then next Friday, 74 degrees. So that is September the 5th. First week of September. How about that? Looking pretty good. All right, we are now, it's 10:20. So we're right on time. You know, this is when we're going to start to dig in to the weather model data. Coffee break. All right, there we go. And again, any weather questions, feel free to drop them in there at any time. I'll try to bring up any map that I have access to. All right, there's again a live look at the camera. Falls of the Ohio Foundation camera scanning the skies. This is a look at the radar and satellite. Look how quiet it is across the United States. There's an old front draped across the Gulf Coast. That's where there's a bunch of rain down that direction. Looks like some flash flood warnings in Louisiana. And again, you can't even tell really that there's a front going to be moving through our area or moving through our area right now, as it is a pretty much a perfectly clear sky. I want to bring up we're going to bring up the current temperatures and the dew points. And this time of the year, the dew points is really the best way to look at a change in the air mass. You get that real dry air from Canada, you know it's going to be feeling good. I'll bring up the high resolution weather data to show this tiny rain chance, mainly off to the south as well. But here is a look at the current conditions. Pause. Okay, there we go. That's a better map right there. So you can actually see the front. If I go ahead and bring this up full screen, notice north of I-70 up towards Indianapolis, they've got 50s, even some lower 50s, and then we're in the 60s and 70s. So that front is dropping down. We've already got the wind direction shift, that cool air just lagging behind a little bit. So again, we're looking at lower 80s for most locations for today, but then upper 70s for tomorrow. And you can see that blue up to the north, that Canadian air really winning the battle for our area. And if you like fall weather, you are a fan of that. So that's that. Now I'm going to bring up the dew point temperatures. And let's see where we got it at. Oh, I know what to do. So now we're bringing up the dew points. And they are low. I mean, 50s, it is. That's why it's so comfortable out here. That's why I'm in sweatshirt, because these nice low dew points. Dew points even lower to the north in the 40s up here around the Great Lakes. But that is that reinforcing front. Just going to reinforce the fall-like air for this weekend. Now, even a bigger push of Canadian air right around next Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to see that as we load up the long-range data here in just a second. But let's check out the Climate Prediction Center. Look at this. Even a deeper blue this morning. What does that mean? So this is the 6 to 10-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. So feast your eyes on that. So that means the extended forecast has a very high confidence in below normal temperatures 6 to 10 days out, right over the Ohio Valley and the Midwest. Well, hello, Desi. Do you want to be part of the show this morning? What are you doing? Hi. All right, so that is the 6 to 10 day. Let's look up the 8 to 14 day outlook. Desi's really wanting to go on a hike, and it's been my fault. We haven't been able to do that here lately. All right, we've got this is the 8 to 14 day outlook, so a couple weeks out. And look at that. It still shows blue. So blue means above normal temperatures of above normal chances. I get it wrong every time I try to say it. Above normal chances of below normal temperatures through the long range outlook. And we'll back this up from the Climate Prediction Center as we match it up with the GFS long range weather model. And again, you're now into the really nerdy portion of Ben at 10 as we're looking at the weather model data here together. Get back to the future radar for today. So this is the high resolution HRRR, and it was completely dry as I was looking at this today. This is at 4 p.m. It's showing absolutely nothing. It shows a blip, like I don't even know if you can see it, south of Litchfield, a blip of green right there. So it is pretty much dry. The HRRR, high resolution rapid refresh weather model. Now the NAM 3 kilometer is another high resolution weather model. And I've got this is at 11 o'clock this morning. Here's noon. Let's go to like 2, 3 o'clock. See if it can pop up anything. Okay, so this is the most aggressive weather model for today. And notice along the front here, so here's the front, late afternoon, and it shows, as you can see here, the chance for maybe a sprinkle or a brief little shower along and south of the Bluegrass and Western Kentucky parkways. I don't totally buy this, as most of the weather models are dry, but I would go like 5% chance of this shower in those areas in central Kentucky. And Angela, pop it in the comments. Good morning. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Labor Day weekend. Wishing everybody in the weather family a happy Labor Day weekend. Thanks for popping in the comments here this morning. So that's today. That's our high resolution weather model. We've looked at the Climate Prediction Center. And now we are going to start to look into next week, because we are dry all the way through Monday, possibly some areas Tuesday. So if we're going to be looking at the long range data, that means it's time for Ben on a limb. We're going to go on the long range weather hunt here. I'm going to start with the GFS with a look at Labor Day. So Labor Day is looking dry across the area. Rain chances getting a little bit closer. But let me go ahead and jump ahead to the 2nd of September. This is going to be our Tuesday. So we have what's called an inverted trough coming in from the south. Trough is low pressure. Low pressure is lightweight air. It rises, clouds form, rain chances commence. So this is coming in from the south. So that's why I say Tuesday looks like a little better chance of that rain in Kentucky than Indiana. So there are parts of the area that might actually stay dry all the way through Tuesday. Farther south, a little better chance of that rain right now. That's kind of the trend. So I put like a 30% chance of rain for Tuesday next week. As we look ahead into Wednesday, and the weather models differ a little bit, but showing a better chance of some rain kind of scattered about the area Wednesday as this front is moving into the region. So there is Wednesdays. We need that rain chance right there. It doesn't look huge at this point, not a big soaker. Some of the weather models were putting out maybe like a 1/4 inch of rain, total 1/2 inch of rain over southern Indiana, maybe a little more in Kentucky. And then if we bring up we haven't shown the precipitable water, but this is that change in the air mass, very dry air moving in behind that front. And we can bring up the dew points, and it really shows that Canadian air carving out what little moisture we have anyway. So this is that front right here next Wednesday evening. And this is going to bring in October-like conditions, it looks like, late next week. All the weather models are on board for this even cooler change late next week. So you'll watch this kind of continue to punch into the area as we head into Thursday. So this is next Thursday. Look at that contrast. And that's just super dry air. That's like dew points in the 30s, by the way, which we haven't seen in quite some time, probably since May. Look at these dew points. That's the temperature you would need to cool the air temperature down to create dew, for dew to form. Very low level of water content in the air. So it's going to feel amazing. And a bit, the humidity, you can see just getting shoved down to the south and southeast. That's next Thursday. So yes, this feels fantastic what we have now through this weekend, fall-like. But this is kind of deeper into fall weather late next week. And let me clear that out. And let's take a look at these temperatures. They're pretty crazy. They're showing 60s and 50s to the north. Let me go to like the afternoon Thursday. Let me clear that out. So this is the afternoon Thursday. 60s, 70s. So even cooler than we have been next Thursday, Friday. So big change on the way with that. Now, we've talked about this as well. If you're curious about the reason for the change in the season, weather-wise, this is pretty impressive. This is the jet stream, okay? We're talking about wind flow up around 15, 30,000 feet. And this is a huge trough that is digging down from Canada. So that's the wind flow right there. The ridge is out west. Trough is right here. And so the trough fills in with cooler than normal temperatures. That's why the Climate Prediction Center also agrees in this below normal temperature trend through the long range outlook. So that is anomalous, is I would say the word. Not typical to see a trough that deep this time of the year. Digging trough, giving us cooler than normal temperatures. All right. Let's get out of the full screen mode. And so with that kind of air moving in, it could linger for a while. Let's go back to the dew points. It's the best way really right now to see how long this Canadian air will kind of stick around. So look at that. That's next Thursday. We're going to push this ahead to Friday the 5th. And that dry air is still over the region next Friday. We can put up the temperatures next Friday afternoon. This is the 5th of September, showing those 70s across the area. Looking awesome. And then going back to the dew points, we'll go into Saturday the 6th. Starting to show a little more humidity. Dew points in the 60s coming back. And then a look at the temperatures here for Saturday the 6th, showing maybe we start to warm up a bit more. So summer not over with. I know some folks were asking, are the 90s over with? Is summer over with? Well, next couple of weeks, we're looking cooler than normal, but there is still that chance that as that trough moves off to the east, ridge comes back into the region and it starts to warm things back up. So never rule out a September summer return. So there you go. But overall, a lot of cool conditions for a long time here for us. So there's that trough kind of moving off to the east. Not this weekend, next week, and perhaps the return of some warmer air down the road. This will be Sunday the 7th. Again, we're in the long range portion of the show here this morning. And that shows some heat returning to the region. Will that happen? We don't know 100% sure, but if you're wondering if summer could return, the GFS says it certainly could return. Not this weekend, following weekend, after a big cool spell. So kind of a roller coaster ride maybe next week. Those temperatures taking a dive and then maybe rising back up. Good stuff there in the weather department. All right. So that is that. Very quiet conditions. We'll take a quick look at the tropics, and then we are going to, again, on this date is when Hurricane Katrina made landfall in 2005. So I'm going to bring up the radar and satellite, look at the current conditions, and we'll get back to the forecast here for you if you're just popping in the show. Always like to do the forecast recap as we get towards the end of the program here. We're at 10:33 on your August 29th. Happy Friday to you. So this is the radar satellite. Let me pop in the tropical data, which I don't see much of anything happening in the Atlantic Ocean. And there's a couple systems out in the Pacific. So that is good. Nice and quiet over much of the region. Speaking of quiet, there you go. There's our radar and satellite. I'll bring this up full screen. We'll take another live look outside. There's a little layer of clouds up to the northeast, up around Muncie, Indiana, Dayton. But looking at the radar, looking at the sky right here, Just a lot of blue sky overhead right now. All right, let's get out of that. We're done with the weather models. And so there is, speaking of which, that blue sky here over the Falls of the Ohio and the fossil beds there on the New Albany and Clarksville waterfront with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. It'll be a great morning for a stroll out there. All right, let's bring the forecast here back up. We'll go quickly through the corny weather jokes, and we'll move it right along on this Friday. All right, there you go. So weather headlines today for your August the 29th. Dry through Monday, rain chances mid next week. Canadian front bringing more below normal temperatures, likely cooler than what we have now late next week, which we just saw on the models. So today, 76 at noon, 82, making it a fantastic Friday. Humidity staying low, 72 at 8 p.m. Great evening to be outside on the patio, dinner outside, Friday night football, whatever it might be. We're in good shape. And so those dad jokes, what do you call a guy wearing a red and black striped shirt at the grocery store? Freddy Kroeger. Why did the tornado break up with the hurricane? They had a twisted relationship. Why did the snowman go to therapy? He was having a total meltdown. Weather related, fall related. There you go. How many days until those before 8 p.m. sunsets? 5 days away. Autumn begins in 24 days. Average highs in the 70s, 26 days, but we're getting early taste of that. And then average highs in the 60s in 51 days. The weather history for today, again in 2005, is when Hurricane Katrina inundated New Orleans and the Mississippi coast. So 20 years ago, that is crazy. I was in Augusta, Georgia. 2016, a lightning strike instantly killed a herd of 323 reindeer in Norway. And then a little more locally, 1985, several homes in Crawfordsville, just northwest of Indianapolis, damaged by severe thunderstorm winds with a wind gust near 70 miles per hour recorded in Indianapolis. Allergy forecast is going to remain high for quite some time until maybe we can get some rain to hold it down or a frost. Well, the frost is probably a little ways out. UV index is high today, very high level of 8. Plenty of sunshine to go around here for us. The forecast today, 82. Tiny, tiny rain chance over central Kentucky along that front this afternoon. Most areas dry. Northwest wind around 5 to 10, maybe gusting to 15. North sunset at 8:16. Here's that Friday night football forecast. 81 before the game, 76 at kickoff, and then dropping into the upper 60s, low 70s. A little crisp out there, so might think about the light jacket or sweatshirt for after the sunset. Low tonight, 56 degrees. Loving that fresh air here. HVAC systems getting a break. Light northeast breeze. Sunrise at 7:11 tomorrow, setting at 8:15. And we're looking at noon, 72, 79 for that afternoon high tomorrow with nice low humidity and a light northeast breeze for your Saturday. And the Bats are at home all this weekend versus the Columbus Clippers. If you're looking for something to do there, again, feel free to drop in what's happening in your neck of the woods, your county, your town. If there's any event or festival going on, feel free to drop it in the comments. Folks might look at it later with the replay. 80 degrees Sunday, lows in the 50s. Monday, 82 for your Labor Day. And then look at the falling temperatures behind that front next week. So we'll have a chance for a few showers Tuesday, especially in Kentucky. Right now, the timing has that front Wednesday into early Thursday with our best rain chance. And then behind that front, maybe some of the coolest temperatures we've seen in a long time. 72 Thursday, and then sunshine and 74 next Friday. Now, again, we looked at the long-range model data, and beyond that, we were seeing, perhaps a little over a week, late next weekend, maybe we'll be back to some summer-like conditions. But for now, fall-like weather is winning out here. We've got Lily and Lasley. Have a beautiful weekend. Happy Labor Day to you as well. Thanks for tuning in here. She did, Vicky. She's doing good. She had early on a temperature report of 69 at her house there in Litchfield. All right, let me remove that. Bring up this as we direct some traffic here as we're getting toward the end of our Ben at 10 this morning. Again, I want to give a shout out to Lions Roofing, a great partner here in Southern Indiana. They can be your partner and help you out with your roof, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. And I get to golf with these guys September 8th. I'm looking forward to that at Covered Bridge. So they can get you covered here. If you have any roofing issues, 812-294-3595. They fixed up my mom's roof very efficiently and effectively. So I want to say thank you to them. And they, of course, had to work with my buddy Michael Long here out of Southern Indiana. Tell him I sent you, by the way, if you want to get a quote for your car or home insurance, or it might be something else. We've got a policy on the cabin, side by side. So there are other things you can insure, of course. Again, 812-578-3072. He can hook you up with ways to get discounts as well with their app and with student discounts. If you've got a student in high school that's driving or college, you might want to look into those discounts, because teenage drivers, especially boys, can raise those rates, as I know. But again, that's you can go to amfam.com, just search Michael Long. He'll take you to his landing page right here, and then you can message him and, again, get that quote. And plenty of opportunities around the area. If you or family member, friend needs work, needs an opportunity, needs a new career, there are job openings out there. This is Libs Paving, locally family-owned company out of Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. Busy right now with this beautiful weather. So just go to the career section at libspaving.com, L-I-B-B as in Ben, spaving.com. Send them the link. Let them know there are opportunities out there, and you can get your opportunity. And maybe you just want a whole different career shift. There are 42 different programs offered and counting here at Ivy Tech Sellersburg. Just go to locations, click on Sellersburg. You're going to learn a whole lot from the website, but you can get that one-on-one help out there at their beautiful campus in Sellersburg, exit 9 miles north of Louisville, up I-65. And so Tuesdays at the Tech is you can register for a visit here and talk to the administration, talk to instructors, maybe bump into some students out there. So there you can see and getting information for registering for classes. Fall session began Monday, but there's a second fall session as well. So they've got these 8-week programs throughout the year. So they can hook you up whenever it's convenient for you, help you with tuition aid. They've got partnerships with businesses and organizations all across the area, powering the workforce here in Southern Indiana. So thanks to all that they do. And another reminder, too, you can always go to extolmag.com/weather. If I hit the refresh button here, we are going to see that there is my live show up right now. There's me right above me. So you can, thanks for liking or subscribing on our Extol Media page on YouTube. That's where my mom watches on the big screen. I think that's the best way to watch. But perhaps you're watching on Facebook, Extol Weather, or Meteorologist Ben Peine page, or right here online. But there's always a ton of weather resources here for you. Bookmark the page. I've got the weather story updated. You've got weather maps, drought information, traffic cameras across the area, river, lake levels, storm prediction center day 1, day 2, any watches, any warnings, any storm reports, regional radar, live radar with different parameters you can click on with these temperatures as they're starting to make their way into the upper 60s and lower 70s. So trying to hook you guys up with so many tools to keep you updated all the time weather-wise. All right, that is going to do it. We are at 10:43. We always somehow make it 45 minutes with our weather forecast here for Southern Indiana and beyond. So I hope you guys have a great Labor Day weekend. I'm about to zip up to IU, grab my daughter so we can have a little Labor Day weekend visit. I hope you have a great time with your family. Feel free to, again, if you're watching the replay, drop in a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. And as always, feel free to also drop any questions in the comments, and I can try to answer those the next time, perhaps. And if you ever want to partner up, here you go. Easy to do. Just contact me, Ben, at extolmag.com, or just communicate and connect right there. Wow, those cicadas got loud. How do they know when to all go at the same time? They were quiet just a second ago. Here they go. That was like one of them. They're still out there. The dog days cicadas, I guess. Bugs are loud this morning. A couple comments popped in, so we'll look at the comments and then we'll say goodbye. Vicky Berger, have a wonderful weekend. Robert Simpson, Ben, I have to admit, I'm enjoying the dry spell. I think a lot of us are, for sure. And Jay Case, happy Labor Day weekend. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a fun, safe weekend, and we will see you next week. Likely, I'll probably do a show from home Monday, but if not, we'll see you next Tuesday. All right, peace out. See